So you're experiencing depersonalization or derealization or both, and you're extremely terrified that the symptoms will never shut off. And you're likely doing all kinds of things to get rid of the symptoms, but no matter how hard that you try, the symptoms just won't seem to fully go away. Or maybe you're doing stuff and it's not helping at all. And that's why these symptoms are unlike anything that you've ever dealt with, because usually you can overcome challenges with the power of your mind, or you can just do a quick Google search or ask somebody that you know, and you can figure out how to overcome something. But this time is different. Your mind isn't powerful enough, and the Google searches, forums, YouTube videos, Facebook groups all present 10,000 different explanations of why the symptoms are there and also how to overcome them. And to make matters even worse, some websites or comment sections say that you can't overcome the symptoms. In fact, I remember whenever I was still suffering with depersonalization and derealization, the very first website that I clicked on said there is no known cure for depersonalization and derealization, but symptom management can be achieved possibly through talk therapy. I absolutely freaked out whenever I read that, because for all that I knew, it was true. But the most important thing that I wanted to know, and the most important thing that you want to know, which is why you clicked on this video, is how long is this going to last? When is the hell going to be over? Most people have never heard of these symptoms, even though statistics show that over half of all people will experience them at some point in their life. And because most people have never heard of these symptoms, and also because there's so much confusing and contradictory information about the symptoms online, and also even if you talk to a therapist and talk to a doctor, you should do those things. But I'm telling you, after working with DPDR sufferers for the last 6 years, most of the time they're probably either not going to know what the symptoms are, or they're going to have to look them up. And because of all these factors, it appears as if depersonalization and derealization are this giant jigsaw puzzle that just can't be solved. But I've got some good news. The symptoms can go away once you understand why they're happening in the first place. And also the good news is, once you understand the neuroscience of why they're happening, we will immediately get an understanding about how long it's going to take to overcome them. So real quick, just in case you're new to my channel, my name is Jordan Hardgrave. I'm the founder and CEO of Trauma Free Academy. I'm also a recovered former sufferer of depersonalization and derealization. I experienced the symptoms for years. It was the most terrifying thing that I ever went through, but I finally discovered how to recover using a body-based approach. And it's been my privilege for the last 6 years to be able to work with thousands of DPDR sufferers from around the world. I know this recovery path inside and out. And I've also had the privilege of being directly trained by some of the world's top neuroscientists and traumatologists. I have discovered something that you probably wouldn't expect. It turns out that depersonalization and derealization are not this impossible jigsaw puzzle, and they're really not mysterious. Some people online even would say that there's some sort of spiritual awakening, and I get why they could think that, because the symptoms are quite existential in nature, but it's not that at all. But as I said, it's really just a matter of a lack of education. So here's what you need to know. These symptoms are not unique to humans. They actually are part of the freeze response, which is an ancient mammalian defense mechanism that activates when a mammal is too overwhelmed to fight or flee. You probably heard this as playing dead or feign death. For example, we see this in deer that freeze whenever they see car headlights. I'll be driving on the interstate all the time at night, and all of a sudden there's all these deers and they're just like frozen. In fact, there's that expression, a deer in headlights look. What that means is you're frozen. That deer is a mammal that is going into the freeze response and actually may be experiencing depersonalization and derealization. And also the freeze response is also called a trauma response. It's whenever you reach a state of nervous system overwhelm. It's not an event, it's a state of nervous system overwhelm. And depersonalization and derealization are trauma coping mechanisms designed to reduce the pain of being eaten by a lion, just in case playing dead doesn't work. The predator prioritizes prey that put up a fight, so whenever the mammal plays dead, the predator hopefully loses interest and moves on to a prey that will give it more basically entertainment value for the kill. But just in case the predator doesn't believe that the mammal is dead and doesn't walk away and decides to eat them, depersonalization and derealization are there to make that death by lion or whatever as numb and painless as possible. You could almost see depersonalization and derealization as nature's last gift. If you're a mammal and you're about to be eaten by a lion or die in some way, you might as well not feel it. But I know what you're probably thinking. I'm not being eaten by a lion. I'm not in any physical danger. Every now and then we get somebody who comes to us that is in physical danger. Maybe there's like a physically abusive situation or whatever. But 99% of the time, people are not in any danger. Yet the symptoms of depersonalization and derealization are deploying as if they are in danger, as if they're about to be eaten by a lion. So the question becomes why? And again, this all connects to how long it's going to take to get out of the symptoms. So just bear with me for one more moment. The reason why that you are going into a threat response of fight, flight, or freeze, in this case, it would be the freeze response, when there is no threat, is because kind of a misfiring that happens in the brain. It's the anterior cingulate cortex and the anterior insula. And whenever you have emotionally distressing experiences, your brain actually registers that experience as being physically dangerous. Your brain takes note of all the sensory data that you're experiencing in that moment and assigns the procedure of fight, flight, freeze response to that sensory data. Fight or flight response if you were stressed out but not overwhelmed, or it assigns the freeze response if you actually were overwhelmed in that moment. This creates what's known as a sensory trigger. And in the case of complex trauma, which is most of the clients that we work with, although every now and then it's a major trauma, which is just a single sudden overwhelming stress that happens. But what's most likely happened is that you had painful experiences emotionally, your brain formed all kinds of sensory triggers, and those sensory triggers started to produce fight or flight response in your body. There was an increase in cortisol, increase in adrenaline, increase in muscle tension, eventually an increase in fatigue, also possibly some emotion that started to happen. And all of this started to build up, build up, build up, build up. You could think of it like filling a cup with water. And then eventually that stress, tension, fatigue, and emotion in your body got so severe that it became overwhelming for your nervous system. And because you reached a state of overwhelm, just like if a gazelle or deer can't fight or flee and is being chased by a lion and hits an overwhelm point, they're going to enter into the freeze response. That's like the last autonomic defense mechanism right before you get eaten. And even though you weren't being chased by a lion, you did hit a point of overwhelm in the nervous system. And because of that, your brain thought that you were being eaten and decided to put you into the freeze response. And then depersonalization, derealization kicked in to help disconnect you from what your brain thought was you being eaten. Real quick, if you do want to work with me and my team to help you become symptom free as fast as possible, there is a link below. We're helping people overcome these symptoms every single day. And also check out some of the recovery testimonials and interviews on my channel. Those interviews will literally encourage you so much and give you hope that you can beat this. So now that we've talked about the neuroscience of why the symptoms are there, you could probably guess my answer as to how long is it going to take to get out of these symptoms. We know that these are trauma coping mechanisms. Trauma is a state of nervous system overwhelm. It's also called the freeze response. And DPDR are trauma coping mechanisms. So the symptoms are going to last as long as you are in a trauma response. Think about if there was a lightning strike in your house and that lightning strike overwhelmed your electrical system in your house and there was too much power, overwhelming power. It overwhelmed the electrical system and the circuit breaker kicked in to temporarily disconnect your appliances from the electrical system. How long is the circuit breaker going to maintain the disconnection? Well, until the power is stabilized. Have you ever had your power go out and it took several days for somebody from the electrical company to come out and fix it? Well, the circuit breaker was activated as long as there was too much power. So with that being said, it's no different with depersonalization, derealization. They are there to disconnect you from too much power. What is that representative of? Tension, adrenaline, emotion, fatigue in the body, and also a lot of times overwhelm in your life. Typically what we see is the people that are primarily experiencing derealization, they usually have a lot of life things happening that are quite overwhelming, and derealization becomes kind of the shield, right? This wall of glass between them and reality to disconnect them from what's happening in their life. And also they've got a lot going on in their body too, but maybe not just to the point of overwhelm where depersonalization would kick in. And then depersonalization is there to disconnect you from overwhelming power in your body. So if you're experiencing only depersonalization or only derealization, that would be why. But if you're experiencing both of them, that would indicate that there's literally both overwhelm in your body and in your life. But here's the great news, and this is going to directly speak to how long it's going to take to overcome this. Your body knows how to heal itself. In fact, did you know that human mammals are the only mammals that stay stuck in fight, flight, freeze response? All other mammals are able to easily get out of those defense mechanisms. In fact, in a given day, the average mammal, especially in a very hostile environment, may go in and out of fight or flight or the freeze response dozens of times, and they don't stay stuck in there. So here's the thing. your body has a built-in capacity to heal itself, to come back into what's called your social engagement system, which is the calm part of your nervous system, where you feel connected, you can think clearly, you're able to easily socially engage, you feel connected to your body, you feel connected to the material world. But at the same time, there are things that are hindering that happening. There are certain things that you're doing that you need to stop doing, and there are certain things that you're not doing and that you don't have that you need to start doing and that you need to have, which we're going to talk about that in a second. And once we put these conditions into place, it will actually cause your nervous system to get out of these threat responses of fight, flight, freeze and go back into a state of nervous system safety, which is your social engagement system. And that's really what I do with people, is I help them stop doing the things that are interrupting their body's natural ability to heal, and I have them put things into place that will allow their body to naturally heal. So first off, I'm assuming that you've been checked out by a doctor and they've ruled out any sort of underlying medical or neurological issues, or maybe DPDR is a reaction to a medication that you're having. That can cause nervous system overwhelm. If you have a bad side effect of a medication, or maybe you're going through withdrawals or things like that, there's a few different medical or neurological situations. So while they are less common, it is important to get checked out and make sure that you talk to a doctor. But assuming that you've been checked out by a doctor and they've said something to the effect of, hey, this seems to be stress related, or, we can't find anything medically wrong, is usually what they'll say after they do the test. That means that we're dealing with something that's natural, and thus we can have a natural remedy. So here's what we need to do. These are part of the conditions that we need to put into place in order for you to heal. We need you to get in tune with your body. This is called interoception, the experience of the embodied self. We need you to work on befriending your body. There might be sensations or just physical experiences that you're resisting all the time, and it's creating a lot of stress and resistance. There's also tension, adrenaline, and emotion that we need to start to release from your body, because as long as that's built up, it's going to continue to create overwhelm in the nervous system. As well as there's a lot of lifestyle adjustments that you need to make. For example, pushing your body past its limits. You need to have some boundaries put in place to make sure that you're not overworking yourself. And usually there's 5 to 7 unique things for each person that we work with that we won't really know until we look at your situation. But most importantly, this is actually 45% of recovery, according to a lot of studies, is you need to work with somebody who understands what you're going through and can create co-regulation, which is the ability to create hope, relationship, really understand you and hold your hand through that recovery process. Because if you're really going to deal with the root and you're not going to rely on some sort of acceptance technique or distraction technique, it's going to take some time. And there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. But what I tell people is you're actually dealing with the root this time, right? If you have a symptom-centric approach where, it's all about accepting the symptoms or distracting away, or just some sort of approach that directly focuses on the symptoms, I promise you, your results are not going to last. The best that you're going to get, and this definitely doesn't work very well for complex trauma sufferers, is that you're going to mitigate the symptoms for a little while. But until you deal with what's happening in your body and in your life, and you have true co-regulation during that process, your results are not going to last, or a lot of people are not able to even see results. I know that I tried the distraction stuff, just not thinking about the symptoms, just trying to play video games or just do whatever I could to not think about the symptoms. And that never worked for me. Acceptance, though, just inviting in my symptoms, that gave me temporary results. And I thought that I was cured. But then because I never dealt with what was happening in my body and life years later, the symptoms of depersonalization, derealization, time felt distorted, memory issues, as well as like anxiety and all kinds of other symptoms hit me like a ton of bricks. So it's worth it to go through the process and actually deal with this, get to the root, so that way you don't ever have to deal with this again. That's what I tell my clients. So how long will it take to address the things happening in your life and body and get proper co-regulation in order to get these symptoms to shut off? It's unique based on the individual. Everybody has a unique history and a unique brain. This is known as neurodiversity. This understanding that the neural pathways in your brain are not the same neural pathways as in my brain or other people's brains. That's why you can't look to somebody online who's been suffering, let's say for 20, 30 years, be like, oh, that's going to be me. Number one, I can guarantee you that they have not yet put the conditions for healing into place, not by any fault of their own. It's very hard to find help. But number two, that's them. That's them with their body, their nervous system, their brain, and you can't compare yourself to them. You also can't look at somebody that recovered super fast and think that that's going to be you either. We really don't know the exact time frame, but we do know that if you don't have the conditions for healing put into place, the best that you're going to get is symptom management. Some people have more tension, fatigue, and emotion than others. Some people take longer to learn how to self-regulate than others. Some people are not consistent with the strategies that we tell them to implement, and so that's going to add some time to recovery. And then also, one thing that I've learned in the last 6 years is some people just have stubborn nervous systems. Even if you put all the conditions into place, there are a few select individuals that it's still just going to take a little while to recover, longer than the average person. But I do want to end by giving you what you came for. It's not going to be an exact number. I can't tell you it's going to be, 13 weeks, 4 days, 6 hours, and 32 seconds. I wish I could do that, but I can give you at least some general time frames that we've observed for people that put the conditions into place who have worked with us. Now, I want to be very clear. This is for people who have put the conditions into place. This is not a general time frame that applies to everybody. If you do nothing, not only is that not going to heal you, in fact, time makes things worse. I tell people, time doesn't heal all wounds. Time actually makes things worse if you don't have a strategy in place that's going to get to the root. So it's actually time plus an effective approach and strategy that actually brings the results. So the average person that consistently puts the conditions for healing into place, which is self-regulation, co-regulation, lifestyle adjustments, again, there's usually some individual factors for them, is usually about 3 to 6 months. Now, some people are a lot faster. We have people regularly who recover within 8 to 12 weeks, and we celebrate those situations, but the average person, it is going to take between 3 and 6 months. A smaller percentage of people, it may take 6 to 10 months. And for a very small percentage of people that we work with, it may take 10 months to a year, but that's pretty rare and usually indicative of an extremely complex trauma history or just a very stubborn nervous system, or which technically we're talking about people that are putting the conditions into place. But if somebody doesn't put the conditions into place, of course, that's going to take a lot longer, because if you're not putting the conditions for healing into place, your nervous system is flooded with signals of threat because of all the stuff happening in your life and body. So because the time frame is so subjective based on each individual, that's why we've actually switched it to where we now offer coaching until somebody is fully symptom free when they work with us. So regardless of how long that it takes, whether it's 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 months, or even up to a year or more, we will work one-on-one with you to make sure that you have everything that you need, all the co-regulation, all the self-regulation, everything, until you're fully out of this. So with that being said, I know that it may seem as if depersonalization, derealization are some impossible jigsaw that can't be solved, but I will tell you, I am symptom free after years of suffering, and I have been able to get my life back. And I have a beautiful, amazing family, a great career. I'm able to transform people's lives all around the world, and I just am able to do whatever I want. And that's the beauty of getting over the symptoms, is it restores your ability to move forward, right? Whenever the symptoms are there, that's all you can focus on, and it really halts you moving forward. But what we teach people is that not only can you heal, but there's something called post-traumatic growth, which is where you actually walk away stronger than you've ever been. I always tell people these symptoms are a setup, right? They're forcing you to get as healthy and calm as you've ever been. And in the end, once you're over this, you'll actually look back and be thankful for it. So recovery is possible, and it probably won't take as long as you might think once you put the conditions for healing into place. So even though it feels forever, it's not true. I felt the exact same way. Everybody that I've ever helped recover was certain that the symptoms were forever, but let me assure you that this is not the case. It's very fixable. And of course, I do hope that you'll apply to work with me and my team, but regardless of that, I hope this video has provided you with the basic understanding that you need to pursue healing, and I want you to find healing even if it's not with me, even if it's with somebody else. The important thing is that you get better so you can move forward. So smash that like button if you're ready to become symptom-free, subscribe, share this video, and apply below if you want me to be your personal mentor to help you overcome these symptoms. That's it. Have an amazing day.